survival mode was my superpower because it allowed me to push through in everything. But the reality is, the little girl inside wanted me to settle into peace.
Elevate with Monique. Elevate. Elevate with Monique.
What's up, ladies? Welcome back to another episode of Elect Elevation with me, your hostess, Mo. And I am so excited to talk about this topic today because it really is the introduction into how the peace that we can find can move us from survival mode to connection. Now, the reality is that many of us, including myself, we've been so programmed to be in survival mode. It really impacts our mind, our body, and our spirit. You know, I remember when I was much younger, I was a young mom and I had to get it how I live. Let's just be real. And what that did for me is it caused me to always be doing. Like I had to push through, I had to provide for my daughter and later on my children. And so I didn't have an opportunity to really settle into anything other than make it happen. I wonder how many of you resonate with that. Like your motto is, I got to make it happen. It's going to get done. It has to get done. And I'm the person that is going to get that done. Now, at that time, I didn't realize that this was a prime example of survival mode because I had been taught for so long that I couldn't depend on other people. I didn't want other people to feel like I was a burden on them. And so it was literally like I had to get it done. I don't know how many times I can say that. I had to get it done. And it kept me in this rat race, right? I was on this hamster wheel all the time, going, doing for the sake of my children, myself, and my family. Because this was the way of life for me, it didn't even give me the opportunity at that time to think about or consider living in any other condition. Everyone around me was also in survival mode. And so that was all that I knew. But here's the problem with that. When we are in survival mode, it only allows us to think about the ways that we have to provide for our basic needs, our necessities of life. And we resist the opportunity to really settle into inner peace. And that is where we find our little girl. That is where we find healing when we can settle into a state of inner peace. The other problem with this is it really affects our nervous system. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, I didn't really know a whole lot about our nervous system and how the things that we go through in our lives really impact our nervous system and how it moves or how it shows up for us in our bodies. This is where we get anxiety from. This is where we get depression from. This is where that anxious energy stems from us not being able to settle into inner peace and living in survival. And I didn't know that I had a nervous system disruption. And to be honest with you, it had been deep seated. I didn't even know that it had gone on for so long. And so this is an issue that we have when we are in survival mode. The other thing is when you're in survival mode, you really just can't be present. I don't know. No one taught me about being present in my life, right? When we are programmed to think about our future and think about, our kids' future and building and creating these empires and all the things that I think are very, very important, sometimes we can forget about just being present in the moment. And what I mean by that is doing things that remind you of where you are right now. There's a type of meditation that's called mindful meditation. And really what it does is it helps you to bring all of your awareness, all of your sensory to the place that you're at right now. For instance, if you close your eyes and you take the tip of your tongue and go across the roof of your mouth, right? Do that now. You feel that sensation, right? And when you're in a state of meditation or in your sacred space and you struggle with being present, you can bring yourself back to a state of presence, right? Just taking your tongue, running it across the roof of your mouth. The same thing with our children. When we're with our children and we're talking, being present means having intentional conversations, stopping the social media, stopping the texting, stopping the things that we're also doing as we're multitasking, to listen and to hone in and to be present in that moment as our child or whomever is talking to us. So these things that distract us from being present in our lives a lot of times will disrupt the nervous system. It will make us, be in this survival mode, always having to produce something, always having to do something. The other thing is you lack the opportunity to do nothing. When you are in survival mode, you lack the opportunity to just do nothing, to just be. And I've heard people say before, I don't like to just sit and just be because it feels like I'm wasting my time, which is such a terrible thought process because our bodies need time to just be, and not just when we're sleeping, but opportunities when we are in a wakeful state to be able to just be. Sometimes when we are in the state of just being, we can learn a lot from our inner world. What is it that our inner child is trying to tell us? What is it that Holy Spirit is trying to download into our hearts? Well, we don't know that if we're always in survival mode and we're always trying to figure things out and move and do, and we're not being present and just being in the moment. Okay. So I have 3 tips for you. If you are working on practicing inner peace, bringing in more inner peace and moving away from survival mode. Number 1 is connect to your inner child, because doing this requires stillness. In another video, I talked about how important it is to just sit still with your little child, right? So when you are connecting with your inner child, most of the time you are sitting in stillness. You are listening, you are observing, maybe you're asking a couple of questions at the beginning of that time so that the answers, the responses can come to you, but you are still, okay? Number 2 is inner peace will teach you how to listen to your body. Remember, I talked about our nervous system and how our nervous system is impacted by the busyness and the things that we do in survival mode on a consistent basis. Well, your nervous system needs time to regulate itself. And so when you have opportunities to cultivate inner peace, sitting still, being present, you actually are giving your nervous system a break. Because when you're in survival mode, your nervous system is doing this all the time because it has to find ways for you to execute on the things that you need to execute on. But when you are present and you are still and you are quiet and you are sitting in a state of peace, you are giving your nervous system an opportunity to go from this to this and even maybe this. And then number 3 is it can help us to appreciate being present, just being present in the moment. I know that sometimes that can be a struggle for people, just being present in the moment. But I promise you, this is a muscle that if you build it, you will appreciate life so much more. I know that things have to get done. I know that the laundry has to be done. I know you got to cook. I know you've got to go over homework. Well, right now it's summertime, so maybe not so much, but I know that you have to do those things. But when you are able to tap into your inner world, when you are able to sit with your little girl, when you're able to just take a beat and be present in the moment, I cannot tell you how refreshing that time can be. And if you've done this, then you already know what I'm talking about. It's just a matter of continuing to do it. And you might say, well, I have so much that I have to do, and survival mode will make you think that. Mode will make you think that you've got so much that you have to do and you have to get it all done right now. But it is not true. And let me also say that when you are in survival mode, you are more likely to be distracted away from the things that are important, away from the things that really feed into your spirit, really feed into your overall health and optimizing your overall health. So don't let survival mode rob you from the beauty of your inner peace and being connected to your inner world and your spirit and the little girl inside of you. Now, I always have an activity for you because I don't want to leave you with this information without something for you to do to practice this. So I want you to think of the things that represent peace for you. You can even write it down on a list. Like for me, something that is peaceful is walking in nature. I love taking a walk in the morning when it's cool. I get a chance to really just bring myself back to myself. Another thing that I really enjoy doing that is peaceful for me is meditating. A lot of times I'll do it before bed so that I can bring my mind to a place of calmness and stillness before I go to sleep. Because when you're in survival mode all the time and then you drift off into sleep with that mindset, your brain doesn't even have a chance to rest. Like you are still going, your subconscious is still going, and you're on autopilot at that point. So I love to be in nature. I love to meditate right before bed. So think of some things that represent peace for you. And I want you to practice just one of those things today. Get it done today. If it means that it's reading a book, if it means that it's taking a drive, do it so that you can start to cultivate the habit and the desire to bring in more inner peace into your world so that you can release the need to live in survival mode. Listen, there's a reason that your heart led you to this video today. And because of that, I want to invite you to take the inner child connection assessment. And you may say, well, what does that have to do with what you're talking about? And I'm so glad you asked that question, because when you understand the condition and the state of your inner child and how connected or lack thereof that you are with her, it will start to unlock curiosity. It will start to unlock ways for you to really get connected to the little girl inside of you that can bring you not only peace, but a sense of healing. And my friend, I want to tell you that once you start to experience that survival mode that you are in right now, you will figure out ways to move away from that to incorporate more peace in your life. So find the link somewhere in this video. Go ahead and take advantage of it and see how connected you are to the little girl inside of you. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next video.